And join with me in the pledge to our flag and country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And please remain standing for our prayer.
God of our lives, families, businesses, government, and city, thank you for bringing us here today. Guide our city leaders as they fulfill the role that you have called them to. Watch over them and their families. I pray that you bless them and us, the citizens of Guthrie, Oklahoma, according to the riches of your glory. Help us to be strengthened with your power to live in all wisdom, discernment, and righteousness. I pray you will root and firmly establish us in your truth. Help us to be able to comprehend the greatness of your love and to love each other the way you have loved us. May we be filled with hope of a better life you desire for Guthrie, Oklahoma. You have the power to do this. You want so much more for us than we want for ourselves. Help us to seek you and live in a way that gives you thanksgiving and praise. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Notice that on our printed agenda, we've got the city council first. We normally have public works first. Is there a reason?
Pretty observant.
It's actually on the,
Is there a reason for that?
it's online
Because we're
too.
going in executive session to talk about the city manager.
Okay, all right,
And
good.
we have to vote on both bodies for that contract.
Very good. Call to order then our city council meeting of March 7th. Second item on the agenda is public comments, community announcements and recognitions. We have none? We have none. Third item on the agenda is our consent agenda. Consent agenda A, which is the approval of the minutes of the February 21st city council meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
Moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Submit your votes.
All votes are in.
Let's see the votes. Unanimous approval from all those present then to approve the consent agenda, the minutes of the February 21st city council meeting. Item number 4, discussion and possible action to request special use permit to allow a 20 by 20 carport in front of existing home on property located at 607 Lombardy Road. Dan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you indicated, this is a special use permit to allow a carport in front of the house. Per our current code, you can't have any accessory structures, carports or otherwise, on the side or front yard, and it obviously requires a special use permit. There's other provisions for a carport or accessory structure in terms of size, the lot coverage and all that stuff. It meets all of that, so the only issue was whether or not the location was appropriate. Given the area, this house in particular has some topography to it that isn't conducive to have development in the backyard, and it doesn't currently have a garage, and there are some other homes in the area that have carports in the front. So staff nor the Planning Commission had really any concern with it given the location or the neighborhood. So the Planning Commission recommended approval 3-0 with the conditions that the carport is limited to 400 square feet in size, cannot have sides, and must be located as shown on the site plan. The driveway and parking area under the carport must be paved, and a building permit is required and must be obtained prior to installation. So with that, I give it back to the commission with any
So
questions.
moved.
Second.
Were there any public comments
None.
that came through?
Yeah, none.
I know you sent out letters.
Right, yeah, but we did not receive any.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Submit your votes.
All votes are in.
2 votes. Unanimous approval then to move to approve the special use permit allowing a 20 by 20 carport in front of property located at 607 Lombardy Road. Item number 5, we open our public hearing. Determine if property is located in identified, in resolution number 2023-04 are dilapidated, detrimental to the health or safety and welfare of the general public, or create a fire hazard which is dangerous to other property. So we are in public hearing, which means that anybody can speak. Item number 6, discussion and possible action to approve resolution 2023-04, declaring certain structures as dilapidated, etc. Dan?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to kind of give a little introduction, and I think a lot of the information will help not only the council, but some of the people in the audience. As you indicated, this is our annual list of dilapidated structures within the community. One of the things that we did different this year than we did in prior years was another advance notice. This year we sent out letters as a courtesy. They were sent out last May and August, alerting these property owners that if they did not do something with their home, show progress, get the proper permits, they would end up on tonight's list. So that was another courtesy that we had put in place and will continue each year in hopes that we get, compliance without having to get to this point. The other thing that I want to indicate is that basically at this point they have 30 days from tonight. In that 30-day period, they will need to obtain all the necessary permits to bring that house into a completely code-compliant structure. Electrical, plumbing, obviously the structural integrity, the whole 9 yards. Mechanical. And that would have to, and that isn't a submit the permit at the 30th day, that is have those permits issued within the 30-day period. I have some forms, it's a checklist that shows exactly what would need to be submitted, so if there are any owners here that would like to go down that path, I have that available and they can see us at the end, after the meeting, and we'd be more than happy to talk with them and give them that information. So Noah will be doing the presentation on the specific properties that are on that list and show their condition, and then obviously it's up to the council if you want to have, the owner here talk at the time or wait till the end, but that's all I have. Do you have anything else for me right now?
Well, kind of like before, because there's quite a lot of them here, that they're all going to go on the dilapidated list typically. And what happens is they get the amount of time to pull the proper permits and start moving towards fixing it. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, because that's another thing for the council, we've gone over that in the past, where if you do not put it on the list, we lose our teeth. We lose any ability to go after them if they do not live up to their end, if you want to say, or their permits expire and they, don't get it completed, something like that. So keeping it on the list is very important because, again, it gives us teeth to follow through if there isn't any follow through on that.
And if anybody's here for this, we're not interested in bulldozing the houses. We don't have to. We're just not.
So, another question. So on these 15 that are being presented.
Yes.
So I'm understanding you to say that 2 notices went out, May and August? Or
Yes.
between May
There
and
was
August?
only a couple that didn't because they're burn downs. There's a one on Park that burned recently, and I believe there was another one, so they were more recent. But all the other ones, yes, got the letter in the May, and then some others went out in August of last year.
And so between that time and today's presentation, they have not provided any kind of...
Nope, except for today.
Well,
We had a few people come in today, and I think there's a couple of them here. I did talk to one gentleman, and he'll probably be moving down the path of getting his permits in and all that, which is great. But I had indicated to him, and I had a lawyer call because one was in probate, and I explained that we would still recommend it going through the process to make sure that it has that dilapidation lien on it, so we have some teeth. The other thing I'd like to add is in the past, and we do have basically a policy now, if, let's say in the next few weeks or something, somebody wants to sell the property and a bank comes and they can't loan because it's on there, we have a process and we set that up to where it can come back to you, given a certain amount of information and documentation submitted to us, that can be pulled away so they could get a loan to either buy it or rehab it. So there's even possibilities with some of that beyond tonight.
You've done a lot of work to make this a lot better, Dan. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So then you've got, in the last 6 months, on these properties,
Yes.
you've heard nil until the last few days?
Yes. Yeah, or last week or two.
Okay.
I will say that
With the
there.
exception of one.
Yeah, Yeah.
One?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And I think I think it would probably be better if we take them, we offer comments as they come up.
That's
On
perfect.
the
Yeah,
screen.
yeah.
Okay, so
Okay,
that's.
yes.
We'll work that. It's probably not gonna be a quick process anyway.
I understand.
All right, go ahead.
I did want to let everybody know on the council that there, in the last, I'd say 24, 48 hours, we've had a couple demo permits issued currently for homes that are on this list. We recommend that they still remain on the list until demolition is complete, proper inspections have been done, lots leveled, et cetera.
Right.
So, and I'll present them as though they haven't been issued any permits, the same as I would present any other, and then at the end of that slide, then I'll let you guys know which
Okay,
slides there were. Okay.
about a specific property here?
On the whole.
Yes, about the whole process?
For them to be on your dilapidated list, were they already inspected by an engineer to be put on this list?
No.
Who deemed them dilapidated? That's what I'm.
Code enforcement and the planning department is the one
And
who
they're
deems them.
engineers,
I'm sorry?
they're engineers.
No, there's a number of reasons, and it's on a case-by-case basis. But there are a number of reasons, abandonment, various states of decay, fires. Okay, we can, and I've got proof, which I did bring with, to show that proper documentation was sent to the property owner of record through the Logan County, wherever.
I'm just saying.
No, we have proof that it was sent from our end. We don't require proof that it was received. We require proof that it was sent.
It sounds like we're talking about a specific property. Want to
We'll
wait
get
till
up
that
to you.
comes up? Thank you.
Okay. There we go. All right, got to be smarter than the controller here. All right, our first property is 310 South Capitol. We have, as far as the utilities go, the electric meter was removed fairly recently, October of 2022. It's had no gas since 2008, no water service since 2012. Is there someone here to speak? Okay.
Come on forward, sir. State your name, sir.
My name's Clovis Blue. And I was born in that home in 1947.
Okay.
And my mother died. And I've been paying the tax on it ever since. And that's been over 30 years. I've been paying tax on it. And I'm gonna put the porch back on. Somebody done went down there playing games and did some damage on it, trying to force me to sell it to them. And I'm not selling that property. I'm gonna fix it. That's all I got to say about it.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blue.
Well,
Thank
but
you.
make sure that he's aware
You'll meet
of
up
the,
after the meeting.
yeah, of the protocol here.
Okay, the next property is 320 West Vilas. Again, with this one, the electric meter was present until pretty recently, December of 2022. It has not had water service since 2019, has not had gas service since 2013. Is there anyone here to speak for this house?
All right, next one.
Okay. All right, this next one is 413 East Perkins. Some obvious severe fire damage, total loss on the home. Let's see, services have all been released and a demo permit has been issued as of today.
It's one of the two you mentioned.
One of the two that I mentioned, yes.
Okay.
But again, we recommend that even with the permit being issued, whether it's for demolition or
Yeah, keep going.
renovations, that we still keep the,
To the blame.
yep,
Okay.
okay?
Anybody here want to speak to that property? All right, thank you. Move on.
Hang on.
Okay. Okay, the next one on our list is 414 South Drexel. We had, let's see, water service was up until pretty current, 2023, earlier in 2023. It has not had electric since early 2021 and had no gas service since 2009. Is there anyone here to speak for this house?
All right, move.
Okay. Okay, the next one is 423 East Grant. This one actually currently still has an electric meter and service to the house, but per OG&E, it has been inactive, in other words, no usage since 2015. There has not been any gas on since 2017 and also no water service since 2015. And in that time, there have been 11 code cases at this property since 2014. Is there anyone here to speak?
You mean like break-ins and stuff?
Before you
on-
do, can you
sorry?
identify the code cases? What do you mean by code cases?
It has been high grass and weeds. Basically, cities had to keep mowing it.
Okay.
Since 2014.
Y'all had to do it one time, and I paid $200 for it. And
Okay.
after that, I took care of it.
Okay.
I didn't get no cases after that or nothing, and you pull up paperwork stating I only had paid y'all one time, and I paid it on time.
Okay, would you like to step up and address the council?
Oh, yes.
I also want to keep on.
How you doing? I'm
Identify
Leanna Baptiste, and this is my dad's property. He died in 2017, and once he died, I took over it, and I'm one of the 6 kids that he had. And I understand it looks bad, but I kept the area as clean as possible. My sister just recently switched on it as CO, so I didn't get no paperwork. So I'm not gonna say that she didn't get it. We just don't talk like that. I'm just saying, if I can just get a list of everything I need to do to fix it up, I will definitely get that going. And if
That man shaking his head.
Right after the meeting.
it comes down to it, I'll knock it down myself.
Perfect.
Fantastic, fantastic, thank you.
Appreciate that.
And they will
Sir?
work with you.
I'm Jim Green, I'm here on behalf of Renika Ross, and I have had conversations with Mr. Wheeler about it on multiple occasions. I talked with Dan today. Record titles in Kenneth Batiste. He died several years ago. He had 6 children, and the children live in 6 different states. As soon as Renika, who lives in Florida, got the notice, she contacted me, and we filed a probate. And I just today got her appointed so that somebody has authority, legal title to do something with the property. My understanding is the family, and I may be misspeaking based on what you said. What I was told, as soon as we got appointed, we were going to put it up for sale. And I talked to Mr. Wheeler about that, and I'm asking that you take it off the dilapidated list and let us either fix it up or get it sold. I mean, there's 6 kids involved in it. And I know they're all ready to move on it.
Now, you understand being on the dilapidated list doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be dilapidated, but it's in the process. And as
Right.
Dan identified in his opening remarks, being on the list makes sure that there is still teeth so that if we get people here all the time that say, we are going to do this, A, B, and
I
C,
understand.
and A, B, and C don't happen.
Well, I mean, if I could get a pause on it or something, because it's gonna, we gotta get a realtor, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
And, we've gotta get a buyer. We're not in a position to be getting permits and all of that right now. Maybe 90 days or 120 days, something like that, but to give them an opportunity to do something with it. It looks pretty rough there, and it does need some work, but, we've all seen houses that bad or worse rebuilt
And I
in
think
Guthrie.
all of us understand, and we want to work with the owners to either make something happen that improves the facility, or tear it down. So, you know, your statement of pause in order to get some of these steps fits right in with, we're right on the same line with you,
Okay,
as long as it happens.
well,
So what he's saying is it doesn't come off the list, and Dan and company have a bullet list on these houses of what needs to happen to show movement on them to keep it from going to the next step.
I understand that, but their goal is to sell it to somebody that will come
I
and
know.
do that. And if you put a dilapidated
I know.
tag on it, it's gonna make it that much harder to get that done.
We've done it before.
When is this?
We sold several of them. I listed one that was on the last.
No, I understand it can be done,
It
but
can
I
be done.
also, I'm a title attorney, and I know, you know, that creates
Yeah.
further complications. And all I'm trying to do is to get enough time for my clients, you know, to get the matter taken care of, and not, you know, burden it up so that we can't get that done.
All right, sir, thank you. And continue your dialogue with Dan that you started today. Anybody else on this particular property? Next one.
Okay, next we have 430 North Park Place. This was a recent fire from November of last year. Excuse me. I have spoken with the owner multiple times, as well as a contractor that she has commissioned. And as of today, a demo permit was issued for them to demo the current house, rebuild on the same property.
Cool.
Good, very
Yes.
good.
So once they do the rebuild, it'll be taken off, once it's demoed
Once it's gone,
and
yeah.
gone, then it'll be taken off this list so they can do the rebuild.
The inspection that's required with that permit, with the demolition permit, is that we inspect the sewer cap to
Right.
make sure that it's properly capped. Once that's done and it's passed, then yes, we file the necessary paperwork to have the notice of dilapidation and lien removed.
Okay.
Correct. Or, to go along with that, if all the proper renovations have been done and it's passed all the permits at that point for renovation. Okay, moving on, our next house is 501 East Vilas. It has not had gas service since 2012, no water service since 2016, and OG&E had no accurate record of when it last had electric service. There was a possible mortgage on the property, so they were notified as well. Since 2015, there's been 9 code cases. Generally, with a house like this, it's for high grass and weeds or accumulation of material, tree branches, things like that. So is there anyone here to speak for this house?
Good evening. My name is Kyler Weeks. This is Clyde Moran. We represent Moran Properties. It's the property company that's purchasing this house in 2 weeks on Friday. We're not here necessarily trying to get it off the list. We just need an extension for 90 days, and we believe that we can get that taken care of. We have a scope of work order right here showing everything, how much it would cost and about how long it would take for us to get it done.
So what you're gonna have to do is work with Dan, and they'll set you up.
Awesome.
As soon as the meeting's over, we can make copies.
Yeah, give that to Dan.
He's the one that needs it. Yeah, yeah.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Appreciate that. Good luck on that.
Is there anyone else for this property? Okay, next house that we have is 523 South Capitol. The electric service is actually active currently. Water service has been active since 2020. It has not had gas since 2021, early 2021. Since 2014, we've had 14 code cases, ranging from accumulation of material, trash buildup on the property, to RV and trailer parking on the property as well. This property is suffering, or this structure is suffering from pretty significant questionable
Structural damage.
structural damage, yes. Is there anyone here that wants to
Anybody
speak?
here on 20, or 523? Come forward, please.
Okay. We have a plan that's been written up to get the
What's y'all's names?
Hardeman, Dan and
Hardeman.
Donna Hardeman, to get the foundation fixed. All the stuff done been picked up, all the trash and garbage gone and whatever. That's been taken care of.
So you've got a written plan with timelines and to get various work done, or is it just about the foundation?
Just about the foundation.
Just about the what about the rest?
All the junk is gone. That's been cleaned up. You don't know.
That's not an accurate picture?
One side of the house doesn't have any siding on it at all, ma'am. There's more to it than just fixing the structure, fixing the foundation.
Yeah, well, that'll be taken care of too. Actually,
Okay, what Brian's
we
been
don't
telling
have-
everybody is
It's
that,
not a timeline on here.
right,
Yeah, it was my understanding that the main concern was the foundation, because all the debris and stuff had been picked up.
right.
Now, we've been putting siding on with my son, actually, he's in the hospital. He's been in the hospital for about 2 months now. And we're basically doing what we can to get all that taken care of.
Well, if you'll get
Well, why
with
don't you give
Dan,
your plan to Dan,
Mhm.
and that's just step one. There's a lot of steps in what I can see here, and the city will need to see a constant improvement process going on here. You did receive notices 6 months ago, and now you're coming up with a plan. We're not gonna wait another 6 months to get
Okay.
something done with that side.
Oh, well, I know siding is expensive. Like I say, we've been doing the best we can with the siding. I know,
well, ma'am, if you'll let him know what you're doing, he'll let you know if you're doing it fast enough.
Yeah.
If you'll talk to him after this meeting, you'll get all the answers and everything you need to know.
No
As
one's
far as
living
how,
in the
as
home.
far as how to proceed.
yeah.
Okay, without getting in trouble. Because see, once you start getting permits and things of that nature, that 30 days that you get can get extended. Okay, but that's up to Dan, that's up to the planning commission, or our planning department to make that decision. So you're gonna just have to stay in pretty tight contact with him if you wanna save your house,
Oh, okay.
okay? We don't want it, I promise you.
Okay, let's move on to the next one.
All right, moving on. The next one is 524 South Second. 524 South Second is our next house. Let's see. OG&E says that the meter was removed. They have confirmation the electric meter was removed. They don't have a date, however. So it predates their records. I'm not sure how long it is. It has not had gas since 2020 and no water since 2002. No water service since 2002. Is anyone here to speak for this house?
Come on forward, sir.
Anyway, I met Dan today.
Name?
I'm Daniel Duke, and I just bought that house. I just recently, when I went to closing, the realtor had come up and said that he had got the lockbox off the door, and there was a notice on there, so he showed me the notice right before I was going into closing, and so I stopped and thought, well, that's pretty serious, with it being put on the evaluation list, so I thought, well, I wanted to get, have to deal with that. I was wanting to buy the house and sit on it for a little bit before I started the projects. And I talked to Dan today, And he's basically gave me a confidence in knowing that I can still move forward with the plans that y'all are talking about, but it puts me on a higher sense of urgency
Yeah.
to do this. My wife was like, you need to finish the kitchen. And if you buy that house, you just get the wood out of it, you won't tear it down, and sell whatever. So I wanted to fix it up, but I wanted to do it at my own pace. And based on the limitations I'll get with the permits and everything, it's just gonna put, a lot more pressure on me to get it where I need to get it, especially since I'm doing it the poor boy way, and trying to get it done. I was looking forward to having a project like that once I got done with the one I was working on at the house, and I just got my leg back. And I've been through like 6 years of surgeries and 14 surgeries, and finally had to, get it cut off. But now I'm actually ready to roll. And I showed Dan pictures. I made progress today. I'm trying to clean it up,
And we're reasonable. If he sees the proper progress being made, we're not moving on.
I know, but at the same time, one of the things that was really good is if we don't move fast enough, then they can get their teeth in you, and then it'll be torn down whether you like it or not. And I was just thinking that since I hadn't known about it since 2 weeks ago, and had no idea, but I still felt like it's just something I wanted to do, and I wanted the house. So I'm just saying I wanted to be off the list and still make progress and pull permits as I need to do what I need to. It's just, I was just thinking that, hey, Dan said I didn't really need to come anyway because it wouldn't be taken off the list no matter what. I still thought, well, it'd be a shot, But I respect the guy. He was really nice to me today,
and he'll continue to be really nice
But
to you.
they'll work with you. We don't want the house.
Please, let me just take me off. That's a bad mark, I may want to sell it, and at the same time, there's just a whole lot more urgency to get something done with it, and I'm just pleading to just, please, let me, not be on the list, but at the same time, I'm going to cooperate no matter what. And I was just hoping, 2 weeks ago, I didn't know that when I was fixing to buy this house, that it was even on the dilapidated list.
Well, we're glad that you are willing to cooperate no matter what, and appreciate your
I was just trying not to have that
input,
sense
Mr.
of
Biggs.
urgency to move as fast as, but at the same time, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, he's not gonna be too hard on you, I don't imagine.
But, like I said, he was really, awesome guy.
All right, thank you, Mr.
It's good to
Beard.
hear.
Yeah,
It's good to hear.
next property.
Thank you.
All right, the next property is 623 East Oklahoma. There has not been gas service since 2005, no water service since 2008, and no electric service since 2009. There have been, since 2014, there have been 11 code cases at this property. And there was a possible mortgage, so they were notified as well. Is there anyone here to speak?
Come forward, sir.
Okay.
My name is Robert McAtee. I own the building. I came in today, submitted a plan. I'm going to save the side of the building.
Can't see it.
I was told it looks like it's getting ready to fall down, but it's looked the same for 22 years. It has probably $4,000 or $5,000 worth of weight equipment in it. It's not going anywhere. It's wired. It has electric meter inside. That's how old the building is. It sits next to the junior high. Used to be a cafe and some other things. But I'm going to put it back together. That's part of my retirement.
And you haven't had electricity since '09?
We just go in, work out, and leave during the day.
Okay. All right.
I have several people that go and use it, and they have keys, and one of them sitting right there.
Okay. And you got a notice last year about this?
It
to
was
be on the
maybe,
list?
what, 6 months ago or so? Yeah. Yeah.
And you've had discussion?
Oh,
with,
yeah. Talked to them today. They gave me some guidelines and told me what I need to do. I'm good with it.
All right, you'll do it. That's what we want to hear.
All right.
All right, good. Mr. McAtee, thank you.
Anyone else?
Go, next one.
Okay. Okay, next property is 805 East Harrison. The electric service is active currently. Water service has been active since 2022. It's undergone long periods of not having water and then water service restored, not having water, water service restored. So the most current restoration of the water was 2022. Has
So it
not
has
had,
water right now? It does have water right now?
as of the time of putting together the presentation, yes. As
Is
of
it occupied?
today, I believe so. We have never had any confirmation nor correspondence.
So you're welcome.
That, yeah, the porch light being on is the most sign of correspondence we've had with the property owners. So, since 2015, there have been 15 code cases. There are still several outstanding, currently open code cases. We
You're
sent out
talking
a...
abatement cases, right?
Yes, yeah, the property itself is in as poor condition, if not worse than the house. A minimum maintenance standard letter was sent out in March of 2022 with no response, and then we have posted it uninhabitable in 2021, in January of 2021, with no response. So
How do we know it's uninhabitable? Someone probably lived in there.
most likely when it was, well, when it was posted uninhabitable, most likely that was due to lack of services. So a lot of times we're notified by the service providers when a property has gone extended amount of time without service. And then we post it uninhabitable to prevent someone from living in those conditions.
So have you talked to the owners of this? No.
No, we have not. But the posting that was secured to the front of the house that you see on the, taped on the front door right there has since been removed. So someone is aware of it,
Right.
but hasn't contacted us.
Okay.
So,
And there's
is anyone
nobody here to talk on that one.
Is anyone here to speak about this house?
Move on.
All right, thank
Who's
you.
the owner of this one?
Comes under Charlotte.
Charlotte Elliott.
Okay, next one.
Next. Okay, moving on. Next, we have 1008 East Springer. Electric service is currently active or connected. They didn't give us a time of inactivity necessarily. It has not had gas since 2022, and it has not had water service since 2016. Is there anyone here?
Occupied?
No,
I don't
No.
believe so. Is there anyone here to speak for this house?
All right, next one.
Okay. All right, next house is 1116 East Springer. It has not had gas since 2008, no water service since 2014. It had electrical up to 2022 when some obvious repairs had begun, but since halted. I have recently been in contact with the property owner as of this week. He is in contract currently with Midwest Wrecking to demolish the home himself. We have not issued the demolition permit. We are waiting on Midwest to send us the releases for the utilities.
Okay,
All right.
very good.
Yes.
Next one.
Okay.
That's the one right there.
Okay, next is 1123 West Washington. It had electric service up until 2022. It has not had water since 2021 and no gas service since 2019. And since 2014, we've had 21 code cases at this property for various reasons, accumulation of material, high grass and weeds, things of that nature. Is there anyone here to speak for this house?
Right there.
Come forward, ma'am.
Mine,
Want to come forward?
I can't.
Okay. Identify yourself. Identify yourself, if you would, please.
Your name?
Oh, Ingrid Gosford. I inherited this house from my family. Been in the family for like 4 generations. So it's not one of my regular little rented. But it's been rented out, and I had no idea that these people didn't have utilities on. When I finally got them to leave, they left me their junk truck and all kinds of stuff and took my gas line from the alley to the house. I left those two windows boarded because somebody in the neighborhood kept breaking them. I replaced them 3 times. So I decided, I have a broken back, I'm getting better, but I have a broken back and tailbone, so I haven't been able to follow up. But, I just left those 2 windows boarded because they just kept breaking.
Is this photo from February 7th of 2023? Well, you said the 2 windows, ma'am. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places boarded up. I see more than 2 windows.
I can't see, my
Well,
daughter's
and I'll tell you, you say you put a roof on it.
Yes,
I mean,
did.
there's a huge damaged section.
It's not damaged, it just lost several shingles in that last big storm. And I have somebody that's gonna put the shingle, do that, because I certainly don't want to start looking.
Well, I've been by the house a number of times. I've worked on several in that area, and it does appear to be fairly structurally sound. So I think you don't have a whole lot of work. It's just a matter of getting with Dan and getting it all lined up and figuring out what you need to do first.
I, spent all my money taking care of all that mess and that, and I have a house that's up for sale, a brick house here in town, and it shouldn't take too long to sell, but I had no idea this was happening, I didn't get those other letters. But my intention is, as soon as that house sells, I'm gonna get in there and fix that back up nice so it can be a rent house, because I need the income.
Well, if you'll get with Dan after the meeting, he'll get you set up on what you need to do, ma'am.
Thing is, I can't sit up any longer, I need to leave.
Okay.
Well, you can call them and.
You don't have to do it tonight.
You got a card?
That guy right there, the nice guy.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Next one.
Okay.
Ma'am, is your mailing address, are you on Viking Drive?
Yeah,
That's the address we have as
Yeah.
well. that the
I mean, so that's what county
notice
record
was sent
says,
to.
so I don't.
Yes.
yeah, that's one of my recounts, actually.
Okay, last house for the evening. We come to 1217 East Lincoln. According to the fire department, this house caught fire in April of last year due to an RV or a camper trailer parked close to the house that was engulfed in flames, and then it spread to the house. So it's had electric up until the point of that fire. It currently has no electric service. It has not had gas since 2021 and no water service since 2021. I'm sorry, no gas service since 2016 and no water since 2021.
Is anyone here to speak on that property? Come forward. Please identify yourself.
Leah Casey. My late husband passed away, is why there's not been any utilities on since then. I live in southeastern Oklahoma. I wasn't aware. I did not receive anything until a month ago. So, and I didn't think there had been any violations, or, because I'd had people taking care of it, mowing it, and things like that. No one had been living there. And it had been broken into several times, and when it caught fire, it was a vagrant that was living there and caught the RV on fire, which caught the house on fire. I've since cleaned up all the RV stuff and the burnt material, and I'm still working on it. I have someone there working on it constantly, but I don't have a whole lot of funds to pour into it right this second. But I want to make it, I want to get with him and make it where I can make it, you know, look a little better. I have cleaned it up. I do have some pictures and things like that. But the reason the utilities aren't on is because no one's living there.
Okay, all right. Well, you spoke the right words.
Thank you.
Get with that man there, identify your plan.
Okay.
And we're going to want to see some improvement.
Right.
And
I
not
have
in
a
year
buyer
from
that is, I had actually talked to John and Anita Riddle. They were interested in buying it and maybe demolition themselves, but he's been in the hospital with with surgery, so I'm working with her on that, and I'll get with him on
Get
that.
with, the first step is get with that man right there.
Okay, I'll probably call you because I have to drive 3 hours and have to work in the morning.
That's fine. That's fine. Thank you, Ms. Casey.
Thank you.
Hmm?
Thank you, sir.
Is that it?
That's all of them.
All right. So, I will entertain a motion then to.
Second.
To do what you guys are doing.
Keep them on the list.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Submit your votes.
Wait on case.
Waiting on case.
All votes are in?
I hit it for you.
See the votes unanimous. Approval then of resolution 2023-04 to keep that listing of 15 structures intact with the communication to the various owners that we're doing today to continue to work with Dan and his staff on making improvements to that property. And that closes out that segment of the public hearing. We'll go ahead with the seventh item on the agenda, discussion possible action to refine the makeup and process of the three-member city council committee to review, interview applicants for the vacant Ward 3 city council position that will make recommendations to the full council. Leroy had, I think, shared with all of us some background information about three different, the three or four last times that we had a similar situation. And I think the options were varied. One was to throw names in a hat, pick out three, go with it. The last one that I was involved with, the mayor chaired the vacancy, the other councilman from that ward, and then was the second position, and the third position was volunteered, whoever wanted to be on the committee. We're here to decide what.
I think we do. I think we do one from each ward, and if Jeff, you don't have a problem, I'll volunteer for our ward.
I think you have to
Unless
get
you
names
want
in a
to.
hat, 'cause I don't think
Unless
you're
you
gonna
want
bow
to.
out, Mayor, and I think.
Actually, he is going to bow out.
Well, I just think you ought to throw names in a hat.
Or we can throw him in a hat.
I agree with
And
that.
I think the mayor's name can go in that hat.
I agree with that.
But it
Well, I
should
think
be,
he
it should be
goes,
one from each ward, though.
He should go in the hat. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't go in the hat. I'm just saying,
if-
I don't think we're collectively gonna get down to three people right here. So put the names in the hat and let's go.
I agree.
All six names in the hat. Draw by a date that city clerk will identify, Kim will identify. It'll be done in her office, and she or one of the staff will, that's what we did the last time.
All right, do that.
This
Oh,
happened.
cool.
And anybody from the council that wants to attend can.
Just remember, we can only have three.
Yeah, not everybody can attend, Mayor.
That's true.
You forget, you keep trying to have a quorum.
Thank you for reminding me.
So a motion to
James?
approve.
Second.
Well, I think we have clarification, so James, you said
But-
seven,
We're
Mayor,
clear.
we're saying six, which is.
There's only six of us.
There are six of us here.
We're saying the same thing.
You're saying the same thing.
Same thing. Okay, we have a motion for six names representing the council in a hat, and three names to be drawn for this selection, pre-selection committee.
So moved.
It's already been done.
Yeah,
We
you already
motion
have a
and
motion
I'm
and a
just
second.
reading it. Okay, any other discussion? Submit your votes.
All votes are in.
Let's see the votes. Unanimous of all six of us then to do a lottery system with pulling three names out of a hat with six names in the hat, representing the six people here on this dais. Okay. Item number 8, discussion and possible action to approve resolution 2023-08, authorizing the submission of a fiscal year 2024 congressional community project funding request for a comprehensive, for one thing. Leroy, you want to just clarify what this process is all about first before we go any further?
I will, in my presentation, will cover agenda items under the city council, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. And it also gives the Public Works Authority that agenda items 4, 5, 6,
7 and 8.
7 and 8. It's used to be called earmarking. Now it's called by a different name. The House calls it community project funding, and the Senate calls it congressional direct spending. Just a different name for earmarking. The House, and this happened last year, they made it a more formal process this year. I put a cover letter at each one of your desks and a spreadsheet that I will go over, and I have a PowerPoint if we need it. These are all projects that we have either submitted last year for direct spending, or we've applied for other grant applications for, so they shouldn't be new to you. If you look at the cover letter, again, the House Appropriations Committee on February 28th released the FY24 guidance for community project funding, also known as earmarks. Community project funding allows House members to fund specific projects for state, local, or private grantees and certain eligible nonprofits. In the Senate, members engage in a similar earmark process called congressional direct spending. The next bullet point talks about some of the requirements. We have to identify what category, what funding committee it goes to, and all that as part of the process. We were informed on March 2nd that this process was going on, and the deadline to submit our proposals is March 13th. So we were given a very short window to do this. Staff has been working collectively, very diligently, to submit our request for the FY24 funding. The Appropriations Committee requires demonstrated community support for consideration of the funding request. One of those support items can be a city council resolution, and that's why we sent out the amended agenda yesterday, was so that we could add those resolutions if you all want to pursue this. Some of the projects, because we have applied for them through other funding sources, we already have letters of support. We'll probably be visiting with Chamber and some others to get some letters, additional letters. The attachment that I attached is a summary of the various projects that we will consider submitting, and I'll go through those. I would point out that this is a complete bucket list of all the projects that we're trying to get funding for. There were select Oklahoma communities that received similar funding for these type projects last year. It's very competitive. Not everybody gets funded. We will not get funding for a lot of these projects, but if we don't try, we won't get it. With the short window of opportunity, it's a rushed process, no doubt, and it's a learning process. So each day we're learning more. Some of these resolutions that you will consider adopting tonight, we might find out over the next couple of days there's not an opportunity for funding for that particular project this year, and we may not submit it if the Congresswoman's staff tells us that they're not eligible. As we work with congressional staff, some requests may be withdrawn, some may be modified. And the projects are, if you look at the large sheet, things that we applied for last year was to try to get funding to replace if not all, at least part of the 55 miles of water lines that predate 1975. We're asking for a 100% grant, and then we will pledge in the matching category that we will fund future maintenance and systematic replacement if they give us the funds to replace those outdated lines. The second one is a second fire and EMS station, and we're asking for 100% funding, and our match will be a commitment to fund the manpower and equipment. We are working with OG&E on a process to do a $5 charge per meter that will be a subscription rate. And because they are controlled by the Corporation Commission, they will have to get the Corporations Commission to do that. But if it's approved, then everybody's electric bill per meter would get a $5 per month charge, and they can opt out of it if they want to, but normally people don't opt out of it once they learn that that's $60 a month. If they do have an ambulance run, we don't charge any more than their insurance pays, and we write the balance off.
You mean 60 a year, right?
Yes. And that $60 a year on a number of meters that OGN has will generate over $1 million of revenue for our EMS service. And that will help us fund additional EMT plus equipment that we would use to man and equip the second fire station if we can get that in place. Central Rural Electric has already said that they will follow suit if OG&E does it, and of course some of our service territory is served by Central Rural Electric and one of the other rural electrics. The third one is to try to pursue money to paint and improve our water towers. And again, we're asking for 100% funding, and our pledge would be that we would maintain them in the future if they fund the upgrades. The next one is the youth baseball complex to get funding, 100% funding to relocate the youth baseball complex out of the floodplain. Resolution 2312 is to apply for a airport terminal and terminal apron expansion, either one or both of those projects. We do have $250,000 pledged by both the city of Edmond and the city of Guthrie toward this project, and $500,000 from the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission. So we will have $1 million match for that particular project. We're also pursuing it through a different terminal grant program. Resolution 13 is a booster pump on the raw water line to feed the water treatment plant. Right now, we have more capacity at the lake and more capacity at the plant, but our water line that brings it from the lake to the plant is lower capacity, so we can't produce as much water as our capacity allows, and that pump would get us to a position where we could pump the amount of water that would meet our capacity if we grow. Resolution 14 is the Guthrie Lake Spillway. 15 is dealing with our sewer mains and lift stations. We got 22 miles of sewer lines that need to be replaced. 16 and 17 are Sooner
That
Road.
figure's not right on 15, right?
That should be 25 million.
25 million instead of
I'm sorry.
25,000?
I did that so fast. You're correct.
Thank you.
Thanks for the correction. The multimodal redesign and reconstruction of Sooner Road and 19th Street, you just recently approved applying for those two projects under a federal RAISE grant, so this would be another funding opportunity. On those two projects, we proposed 20% match with 80% grant. Comprehensive bridge replacement, 2318, 2319, This one we probably won't go forward with, but we wanted to have it on the list to look at doing a aviation business park at the airport. 2320 is to request money, 100% funding for an aquatic center, Highland Park. 21 is a Oklahoma State certified film soundstage that we keep looking for opportunities to fund. And the last one, 22, is a shovel-ready industrial park. We also are under consideration from the Department of Commerce to fund that project. So we're pursuing it under two different opportunities.
The industrial park?
Yes. And that one looks favorable, that we might receive that funding from the Department of Commerce. The ones that are repeated on your agenda under the Public Works Authority are those that deal with utility infrastructure.
So do we need to go through and motion each one of these?
You can approve them, I think, as all of the ones under the city council agenda with one motion. And then when we get to Public Works Authority, do the same thing under the Public Works
I'll
Authority.
entertain a motion then to approve all 15 projects.
Second.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? Submit your votes.
All votes are
See
in.
the votes. Unanimous approval then to move forward with our approval of 15 projects listed, items number 8 through 22 on our agenda, and hope that we're successful in most. Item number 23, City Manager Report.
I have no additional report.
24, comments from City Council. Councilman Williams.
No comment.
Councilman Bothroyd.
Nothing tonight.
Councilman Taylor.
Staff, thank you. I really appreciate, you all talking about the houses tonight and getting that all set up. And Leroy, I appreciate you setting everything all up on all this. So this is gonna be something we've got to look at in the future. It's close to $100 million, if not more, maybe 150 million. It's something we got to look at. We've let slide along for 50 or 60 years, so it needs to be done. Also, I was contacted today by the state. They said, pick the signs up that's on the right-of-way. We're talking about the political signs. I'm not picking on anybody. I'm just telling you, everybody, they said, pick them up, or they're going to pick them up and haul them away. And that's it.
Vice Mayor Case.
No, I don't have any comments.
Councilman Long.
I just hope that we don't provide confusion to people who come up here because we say, talk to Dan, oh, we want to work with you, we don't want to take it down. That's really not true. We want the property either fixed or down. We're not going to just sit there and let them continue to wait. Most of these people, with the exception of one gentleman who just bought the house, they've been staring at and looking at a problem house
For a long time.
for a long time.
Yeah.
So
For
to
3 years.
just come up here today, well, that's too late, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The best option for most people is to try to find yourself a buyer to sell it and let somebody else do it, because obviously you're not. And I just think it's terrible to try to go through the process. You want to save it, but you can't save it. Just save yourself a lot of hassle and just unload it if it's worth unloading, or if someone's willing to buy it, so that you don't have that. Because I'm afraid we make Dan the bad guy at the end, because he's the one that has to enforce it, and we're up here just saying, go talk to Dan, go talk to Dan, he'll give you time. Bottom line is, there is no time. You should have already done it.
Time's already up.
Time's already up.
Yeah.
So, time's now to shit or get off the pot. So, that's how I feel about that.
So real quick, Jeff, on the state thing, because, are you talking about on division?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well,
my understanding, we keep that up. My understanding is that becomes a city issue, because as long as you're 16 feet off of the highway.
No, because the state owns the road, and they own the right of way. And that's what and I asked him, I said, now, he said, doesn't make any difference. He said, we're the ones that go along the road, we, do any paving needs to be done, patch holes. We've got several holes out on South Division that need to be fixed, but I asked him about that, and he said, no, that's what's gonna be done.
So if they're a certain distance
As long
away.
as they're, yeah, as long as they're so many feet away from the road, they got no
They're off
problem.
that
That's what I'm saying, they gotta be 16
Off that-
feet from the
off that
road.
It's actually, technically, it's further than that, because if you, we'll just use the drive-in theater.
Supposed to be
He
measured in
said,
the center of the road.
yeah, he said that they need to be right on where the electric line is. He said, put it right
Yeah.
there, and he said they got no problem with it then.
So it's not that you have to take them off
Right.
of Division,
No,
guys.
right, just
You have to be
move 'em over.
16 feet from the curb.
Right, just
Is where you
move 'em.
need to
That's all you
be.
gotta
That's
do.
the rule.
Yep.
Technically, they're supposed to be outside of the road right away.
Right.
Not,
That's what he was
not
telling
so
me.
many feet outside of the right, they're supposed to be on private property.
Right.
Outside of the right of way, whether it's a city street or a state highway. The normal rule is the electric utility pole is typically on the edge of the outside right of way. So if you're on the non-road side of the electric pole, you're normally on private property. City does not aggressively enforce that. We never have because we don't want to get involved in any local politics. The only time we aggressively enforce it if somebody puts a political sign up that is in the sight triangle where someone cannot see to pull out an intersection. ODOT on state highway tends to be more aggressive, not just in Guthrie, but in other towns, and they will pick up signs along state highway that are in the highway roadway.
Okay, good.
Go to the utility
Thanks for that-
lines.
Thanks for that clarification. Item number 24, consider approval to convene into executive session for discussion of city manager.
So moved.
Second.
Submit your votes.
I think I hit them both, Ken.
You did. All votes are
I didn't
in.
mean to hit them both.
He's indecisive tonight.
Guthrie was a little
Just can't quite decide.
unanimous approval to convene into executive session. We'll be back in a while.
for all you guys do. I really appreciate it. I'm serious. I'm serious. I appreciate what you guys do. What you did tonight was pretty neat.
See it.
Leroy? I didn't mean to exclude you from gentlemen, I just called my name.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to come out
So
of
moved.
executive session. A motion and a second. Submit your votes.
All votes are in.
Unanimous approval, and come out of executive session. Item number 27, I'll make a motion that this council accept the contract as presented to and return from Eddie Faulkner to become our next city manager. He'll be on duty April 17th, 2023. He will assume the responsibilities of the city manager on April 29th, 2023, as our present city manager is retiring April 28th.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Leroy, do you have any discussion?
Bye.
Let's see the votes. We have a unanimous approval then to accept Mr. Eddie Faulkner as our new city manager effective April 29th. He will be on board April 17th. Adjourn our city council, but we have another meeting, and I'll call to order our Guthrie Public Works Authority meeting of March 7th. Consent agenda, item number A, which is the approval of the minutes of the February 21st
So moved.
Public
Second.
Authority meeting. Motion and second. Submit your votes.
All votes are in.
Unanimous approval to approve consent agenda, approving the minutes of the February 21st, 2023 Public Works Authority. Item number 3 is the action to accept Mr. Eddie Faulkner as our new city manager, effective April 29th.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion and second. Submit your votes.
All votes are in.
See the votes, unanimous approval. Then to accept Mr. Eddie Faulkner as our new city manager effective April 29th. He'll be on board April 17th, 2023. Item number 4 is discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2023-08. That is items number 4 through 8 of the agenda.
Second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Submit your votes.
All votes are in.
See the votes. Unanimous approval to approve resolution 2023-08. And that actually,
Is it?
I think, is the end. Now we are adjourned. Thank you. Okay. Jeff?